Hello YouTube. This video is basically, well, pretty much on my workbench. Well, okay, it's some projects I'm working on. This is a little project that I'm working on at the moment, which is a Dell, sort of Dell Atom laptop, which I'll probably end up selling off, most likely. And what I'll end up, I've actually got to find a SSD that's a little larger than what that one is. There's one in there, it's only 16 gig. Basically, the fittings that are in there, it's a chip-based one, which plugs into the motherboard pretty much. So yeah. Then over here I've got my case ready to, or my case and my parts ready to be built into the case. At this point in time I haven't started any work on it really. I'm more just probably going to test the components a little more, maybe make sure everything's working properly. Yeah, basically that's what I'm going to be doing at the moment. There's a power supply in that actual case. It's a 500 watt. I've got a 400 watt there in case I want to use a 400 watt, but to be honest, I'd rather use the 500 watt for something. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the level. I might end up using the 500 watt for something a little more substantial. Say something that's probably, that's going to be a little more, not friendly, a little more gaming orientated. This is not so much a gaming machine as it's more of a, basically it's more of a workhorse machine, sort of, you know, doing basic work. It does have okay graphics. I think the graphics on it are, I think it's an 8600 GT, which it's not too bad regardless. It's not the greatest video card, but then it's not the worst either. So I figure at a later date I'll probably end up, yeah, I'll probably go with that anyway. But I need to replace the heatsink on this at this point in time, because the heatsink on one side is actually loose. I don't know whether you can actually see that, but as you can see, the rest of it's all clamped down properly, but I actually have to get a decent heatsink for it. So that's a few other parts that I've actually got to get for it before I can actually become a functioning, working computer I'm going to offer warranty on. There's a few parts I need to replace on it, pretty much. Aside from that, yeah, I've got the motherboard backplate here and I'm going to put on. I've got a basic hard drive there with Windows installed on it, which I'm testing now, and I've got 2 gigabytes of RAM in it to be able to see that the PCI Express slots and everything else are working and things like that. This one is pretty much a case of, I'll probably end up, so let me just unscrew the back of this anyway. I'll show you exactly what is going on with this. What I intend to do with this, and I don't know, it depends on, you know, the certain situation, but basically I'm going to unscrew this anyway, and that's not going to work because that's too big. I'm just going to change the screw, just going to change my fitting, let's see, there we go, that's the one, let's change that out. Okay, so change that out. There we go, that's better. Change that out pretty much. Okay, so what's the case with this? And there's no place for pain in the ass. Get these back covers off. There we go. Okay, now, basically what it's got. Well, give it a second to focus. So what it's actually got, you see this part here, which is actually a hard drive. That is 16 gigabytes, which is not too bad for basically just Windows, and that's about it. But I would rather a little more storage space just on it, so you know it's a little more of a functional laptop. It's got 2 gigabytes of RAM. I want to get maybe something like a 128 in that size. To be honest, it would probably work a lot better and be just a lot better for it. And, you know, swap it out, basically. Don't know whether I'll get that straight away or whether... I mean, I've got budget constraints at the moment, so I can't actually get all that if I want to. But that's not a big issue. I can just wait that out. And, you know, obviously that doesn't bother me too much to have to wait it out a bit. So, in the meantime, I've got some other stuff I can sell and fix up anyway. There's probably some parts and things like that I still need to get anyway. But, like basically, I mean, you know, as I said, it's not too bad offhand. So, yeah. I think I've got Windows 7 installed on here. I got Windows 7 installed on here just to make sure that everything works. And I'll probably boot it up. So I've got Windows 7 installed on there. Is it going to boot? Yes, it is. It's resuming. So I got Windows 7 installed on there, which I just installed the basic version I had lying around. So let's have a look. I haven't activated or anything on that. So I've installed this. As you can see, the actual drive in there is only 14.2 gigabytes, which is just not big enough, I don't think, to really do any. Well, I mean, I could probably put a bare minimal install on there, sort of thing. But I mean, if you want to have a little bit of storage space just to be able to carry those extra documents and things like that, I'd rather sort of invest in getting something a little more. But I mean, at least I know Windows works on it and everything else works on it. It's got a let's see, specs on the machine are. Let's see. Specs on the machine are pretty much a 2 gigabytes of RAM, a Atom processor, 1.6 gigahertz, 1600, which is not too bad. It's not the greatest, but then I mean, it, for what it is and what it's designed to do is basically be one of those basic computers where you can do pretty much a combination of different things. It's also got a webcam built in and a few other features as well. I've got another one that I'm actually going to sell, which is almost pretty much prepared to sell at the moment. I put a 128 gigabyte SSD in that, so I don't know what the chip costs are involved with this. Or I'm not sure what's actually involved with the chip, or how much it would cost me to get the chip for an old 128. I don't know if they even make them in 128. So yeah, that's a little project. That's a project I'm working on, which is sort of in the process of me fixing it up. Replaced a hard drive from my nephew's computer yesterday, which was having some issues. The drive appears to be working, but I'm thinking that I need to really stress test the drive to get a proper result and actually. Anyway, I ended up putting another drive in there for him, basically the same size, with some of his old data on there, and just replace that. And that drive seems to be working a lot better with his system. So you're that, which is that's a combination over there. So what else? Basically, at this point in time, I think at this point in time, I've just sort of decided to do a couple of little projects. That project and that laptop project, and there's another laptop project that I've actually completed that's got warranty and everything else on it now. This is the bench computer, which is off at the moment. It's mainly off because we had to switch off the power a couple of days ago. What was the reason? I was right, that I had to replace the light switch or fix the light switch in the toilet, which it was just falling out of place, basically. I mean, it wasn't damaged or anything like that, so I just had to sort of stick it back into place. So I'm actually not booting this machine up because I haven't turned it on for a couple of days. But from past experience, this machine's been working pretty well. I think I might do is maybe give it a bit of a dust out, maybe. I think that's probably going to be required at some point. It's a little bit of dust drawn up in the dust filters there. Probably end up taking it outside and giving it a bit of a dust. And I need to switch that. Come on. There we go. Yes. Which, it's not going to switch, is it? Switch. There we go. Okay. So, sorry, I just had to switch my KVM. As you see, well, I think what happened is my dad ended up turning the permanent power off early. I managed to turn my computer off in time, but I don't think I turned this system off straight away because he pretty much turned all the power off in the house. So, but but it's not a big issue. Never had any major problem with I've never had any major problems with this drive recovering from errors and things like that. So yeah, that's the nothing fancy. Okay. So what else? So Workbench computer is pretty much just for getting drivers and downloading stuff and being able to transfer files and stuff like that. So what I did, I ended up turning it back on anyway and getting things working in that respect. I have to, the thing that I have to do with my, well, this build is get a new heatsink. I've managed to get a new power supply. I mean, I don't know. I may end up putting that power supply in there. I mean, the power supply that I've got, which I've tested anyway with the power supply tester, so it comes out pretty well at this point in time. Combination of apps. Okay. So I think I ended up replacing, yes, I did end up replacing the power supply in this computer because it was originally a 700 watt power supply, but it wasn't a very good brand. It was a Great Wall of China brand or something. That was actually the name of it. The name of the brand was Great Wall. So yeah, it didn't inspire much confidence in that sense. The one that's currently in there now is a Corsair power supply, which is much better quality. It was a basic power supply. I mean, it was a basic power supply when I bought it, but I mean, it wasn't cheap either. It was about $100. Well, 95, 75. I mean, I got it for 75, but it's actually worth about $100. I think the actual power supply. So, looking at this, pretty much everything's working on this now. I haven't had any major. I don't know. I haven't had any major issues with this computer for a while. I haven't probably updated things on it either, which sort of helps, sort of doesn't help. So it's a combination thing. That's my dad. Shit. I just changed that out. Sorry, I have to actually change the. No, I'm hoping he doesn't lost the data. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I had to change the internet dongle around because it was not reading it correctly. I think it was maybe because of the power outage before. May have corrupted some data slightly, ever so slightly, but nothing major. It's repairable, basically. So, what do we got? We got this. I need to update the driver on this anyway, so what I might end up doing is, which, this has got what's it got? A 560. GTX 560, which is not a bad brand. It's what was the brand? The brand was shit. The brand was if I remember correctly. What was the brand actually? The brand was, if I remember correctly, was Gigabyte. I found a pretty good run through with a lot of the Gigabyte stuff. Like, my nephew's got my old 770, which was a Gigabyte. I now have my old 670, which is a Gigabyte, and my two current cards are 770s, and they're Gigabyte. They're both Gigabyte, GTX 770s. So I've had a pretty good run through with Gigabyte stuff lasting me a fair while. I think the board in this might be even Gigabyte, but it's much older than you would expect. It's a board that I picked up, reconditioned sort of thing. I got it from, where did I get it from? Oh, that's right, yeah, somebody gave it to me. Well, somebody where I work and stuff, they gave it to me, said I could have it, so I'm like, okay. Well, so I tested it out, tried it out, and it actually works. Which is not a bad thing. Which is the plus side. Close optimizations, which let me get this to fucking load. Oh wow. So yeah, basically, yeah, not a bad experience with Gigabyte. Not a bad experience with Cooler Master cases either so far. This case that I've got currently is actually an Antec case, which is not, I don't think is overly bad as a case. It seems pretty cool, so I'm not going to knock it too much. Yeah, pretty good deal. So anyway, that's the bench computer. That's the current projects I'm sort of working on that are on the bench themselves. I don't have any customer repairs at the moment, mainly because it's just been a quiet time for the moment. It's just I haven't got. Well, I got a few people inquiring about things, but it's mostly like for data recovery for phones and other things of that nature, and just data recovery. Then I guess people just look at them and okay, that's a good price, but then I guess people maybe worked it out at their own leisure. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed my videos. Like and subscribe to me on Google, Twitter, was it Google Plus, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch TV, and Instagram. All those services. You may subscribe, and of course, if you're interested in seeing more videos from me and more videos on newer technology, feel free to support my habit of new technology. Basically, I've got a support or crowd support fan support link. If you're interested in supporting me generally, any amount will help, big or small. And yeah, so if you're interested in supporting my channel, definitely have a look at that. So yeah, okay, thank you very much, and well, have a good day, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation sort of video showing you just some of the things that I do and combinations of stuff. So yeah. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for more on Nightly News at 10. Anyway. Alright, thank you. Bye.